The 3 best products from The Ordinary to treat irregular pigmentation in skin. I just love these videos. Irregular pigment and pigment disorders within skin can be super hard to treat because depending on your skin type and your genetics, your skin can react differently. And on top of that, sometimes the actual problem is super deep into the skin. Kind of like a cake or a 5-layer burrito, your skin has multiple layers. And depending on where the pigmentation or discoloration is, if it's at the top, it'll be easier to treat. If it's at the bottom, you're going to need to see a doctor, a dermatologist, or a specialist who can really help with lasers or advanced treatments. The great news is that cosmetic science has come a long way. And when we work to understand our skincare and learn about what specific ingredients in our products do, we can understand a little bit better about how they'll work for the skin. In order to understand how these 3 ingredients are going to work on irregular pigmentation in skin, we have to figure out what that means. What is pigmentation and what can cause it? What gives our skin its beautiful color is melanin, and naturally, some people have more of it and some people have less. Almost all pigmentation disorders, and I say that in air quotes because if it doesn't bother you, it's really not a problem, it's not dangerous to your health, it's just called a disorder of the skin because it is disorderly, as if normal even exists. But these pigmentation disorders, although they are more common in Fitzpatrick's types 4s, 5s, and 6s, it can still happen with people who are a 1, a 2, or a 3 on the Fitzpatrick scale. There are pigmentation disorders that can happen from trauma to the skin or hormones or sun exposure, such as melasma. This usually happens in darker skinned individuals and it can be hard to remove. Age spots are things that can happen to anyone and of course are related to sun exposure. Even freckles in very light skinned individuals are a form of pigment, and in some circumstances, people might want to remove these. 2 of the most common types of pigmentation disorders are hypopigmentation and hyperpigmentation. And those are often associated with acne and scarring, which many of the beautiful butterflies on this channel understand. If you ever have a pimple or something traumatic happen to the skin, or you're in the sun for too long, and your skin starts to get white in what looks like little paint speckles, or if your skin starts to get purple, brown, or darker in those little areas and it starts to look like you threw black or brown paint on your skin, you should get it diagnosed by a doctor, but it is most likely hypo or hyperpigmentation. And all of these tie back to your beautiful melanocytes, these little cells that create melanin. Now, melanin just doesn't get created. Your body has to be in the right situation. So again, trauma to the skin, sun exposure, acne pimples that pop, or even hormones. But what's key in understanding melanin is that there's something in your body that tells your skin cells to start producing it. That is called tyrosinase. It's an enzyme. And I know that that sounds very, very tricky, but think of this special little molecule as an ingredient inside of your skin that tells your melanin to start cooking up some color, which inevitably can lead to that uneven pigment on the skin. So that means 2 things. We can either work on the melanocytes and the melanin in the skin directly, or we can try to stop the tyrosinase from being created in the first place so it doesn't tell the melanocytes to start working. That is what this first product does. I love this stuff. This is ascorbic acid 8% and alpha arbutin 2%. Ascorbic acid might ring a bell because it's often labeled as vitamin C. Vitamin C is a brightener that we're going to talk about at the end of this video, so make sure that you're watching. But I really want to quickly touch on this 2% alpha arbutin. This is an amazing ingredient because of the way it works on the tyrosinase within your skin. It's an antioxidant that's actually found naturally. It's often found in blueberry bushes and I believe from some grains. But when it's put into skincare, it can do some awesome stuff, specifically stopping that tyrosinase enzyme from creating melanin. See, there's different types of this ingredient. There's alpha arbutin and there's beta arbutin. Alpha arbutin is the most stable one, and it actually goes through a transformation when it's put on our skin. When this is applied, our skin turns it into glucose, a kind of sugar, and hydroquinone. You might recognize that. Hydroquinone has been around for years because it's very effective at helping pigmentation disorders. In other countries, it's sold there are other places in the world that it is sold under the title of a skin lightener, which I have obvious issues with. But at the core of it, it is a very powerful ingredient that for people with unevenness can help. The problem is it can be very irritating. And because our skin is our body's largest organ, there has been some fear in the past about hydroquinone being absorbed by the skin and processed by the liver. I've learned and grown over the past 10 years in this industry, and I don't think there's a huge issue, especially in the amounts that it's available available over the counter, but for some people, they're still afraid of it, or they just can't use it because it's so irritating. The great thing about alpha arbutin is that it is not hydroquinone, and it's much more gentle on the skin. See, alpha arbutin works with your skin. Your skin literally has to break it down into the glucose and hydroquinone, and that means that it is almost like an extended release form of skincare. You put it on, and it goes through this process throughout the day. So it's slow, it's easy on your skin, it doesn't cause a lot of irritation, and it doesn't come with those risks of using high amounts of these other chemicals that are controlled substances, such as a prescription hydroquinone. This is also great because it inhibits that tyrosinase, so it doesn't actually kill the melanocytes. It doesn't kill a part of your skin. It simply kind of holds up a stop sign and says, hey, go take a break, it's time to stop working. The great thing is that this is also coupled with that vitamin C. Vitamin C can be very brightening, and we're going to touch on that at the end of this video, but you can use this day and night. And again, this can be used on different skin types. So regardless of which level you are on the Fitzpatrick scale, this antioxidant is one that can help you. Next, you know I love my acids, and this is one that is fantastic for pigmentation. We especially have to skirt the lines here because, as we mentioned, people who deal with pigmentation often have darker skin. They are the 4s, 5s, and 6s on the Fitzpatrick scale. That means that even doing a chemical peel that's too deep on any of these skin types could cause the very pigmentation issues that we're trying to treat. Even just having an acne blemish could leave a scar, and obviously that can be really frustrating. This is the lactic acid and 10% hyaluronic acid blend from The Ordinary, and this is fantastic. Lactic acid is an alpha hydroxy acid, a water-soluble hydroxy acid, and it works to exfoliate the skin. Now, remember we talked about pigment and how it can be super deep down in the skin, or it could be in those top layers of the epidermis. Regular exfoliation that's done properly can help people who have that melanin stuck in the top of the skin. It can help to gently exfoliate these top layers over time and kind of coax the irregular pigmentation out. It's really great because it is mildly exfoliating, it can help with acne scars, and lactic acid does have a pretty tolerable molecule. So not all acids are safe for all skin types. If you're a 6 on the Fitzpatrick scale, something as simple as a salicylic acid peel could cause a lot of damage. So the good thing about lactic acid is that it's relatively more gentle. Lactic acid is normally derived from soured milk or from bacterial ferment. This one from The Ordinary is vegan, so no animals harmed or used. It comes from a bacterial and fermented source. But it is a beautiful acid that can exfoliate the skin, promote your skin to go through its renewal process a bit more quickly, and as mentioned, if the pigment is still in the top layers of the skin, it can kind of help to coax it out. This is powerful, so I would only recommend using it at night. The Ordinary also recommends that you patch test, and seeing as we're dealing with pigmentation disorders of the skin, you need to patch test, because how horrible would it be to try a new product and it makes the condition worse. Here is a video on how to patch test so that you can avoid a skin disaster. The other thing about this is that it does contain that 10% hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is a humectant, meaning it grabs onto and holds onto water, helping to rehydrate the skin. Sometimes even the good acids can dehydrate the skin or dry it out a little bit. So having that hyaluronic acid helps to rehydrate it, especially if it's getting its hydration from a water source. This is an amazing hydrator, especially for those with pigmentation issues. And it actually works really well with this product because this one has a little bit of water in it, which allows the hyaluronic acid to bind to it and lock it in. This is the Magnesium Ascorbyl Phosphate 10% from The Ordinary, and it's one of my favorite forms of vitamin C. Vitamin C is known as a powerful brightener that can really help to give a glow and a luminosity to the skin. And for those who are suffering with pigmentation issues, whether it's hyper or hypo, it can actually help because of the way it goes into the skin and helps to move things around. Vitamin C in general is very powerful. There have been some studies that show that it makes sunscreen a little bit more effective. Antioxidants in here can scour the skin and help to get rid of free radicals, the things that cause damage and aging. And there are some studies that suggest that vitamin C can go deep into the skin and stimulate collagen. Remember, collagen is what supports our skin. It's that basket weave that, along with elastin, keeps our skin flexible and looking young and bouncy. So if the vitamin C is able to get where it needs to go, which with the penetrating acid like lactic acid, it might actually have a chance to, this is a fantastic option to use in many different skin regimens, but especially in one that's looking to treat that pigmentation. Vitamin C on its own, I would say, can minimally help pigmentation issues. Again, pigmentation in the skin goes pretty deep, so you do want to use some of these other ingredients, but this is an amazing hydrator that boosts the efficacy of both of these and can really help pigmented skin. Again, whether it's from freckles to melasma, it's inexpensive, it's over the counter, and as long as your doctor, dermatologist, or skincare expert says it's okay, I would say it's highly recommended that you try. Vitamin C with skincare can be confusing. This is not the only one that you can use, and depending on your skin type, whether you're oily, dry, normal, or sensitive, there's actually multiple forms of vitamin C that The Ordinary has that you would want to use the right one for your skin type. I recommend this one because it's my favorite, but we've actually done an entire guide on vitamin C that you can watch right here. So click it with your thumb, click it with the mouse, click it with your finger, open it in a new tab, and watch it right after this one. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you that like button, and don't forget to whoosh that subscribe button if you haven't already. We have a whole list of Ordinary videos because they are so fun to dig into, and you can watch them right here. And always remember to be beautiful, both inside and out. I love you, beautiful butterflies, and I cannot wait to see you in this vitamin C video. Love you guys. Bye.